I've had so many great reports. I just looked and saw Diane, and it'd be Phil there. I see Phil. I have so many reports about how people are welcomed in the car park. I have more reports about that than I ever do about my preaching. It's being a servant, opening the door for somebody, just welcoming somebody to church. It's the greeters on the door, just again welcoming people, just giving them a smile. I finish up with about this. When I went to Full Gospel Church Windsor, I got put out of the Methodist Church, got spoken tongues, and I ended up going to the Full Gospel Church Windsor. I was over there. Chris Warren went with me actually, plus a heap of other Methodists that also got put out. So, and lots of Baptists. In fact, there's about 240 of us went there, so double the size of the church. But when I first went there, I'd never been to a Pentecostal church in my life. I'd only ever been to a Methodist church. There was two men at the door, and as they came in, they shook my hand and they God blessed me. I'd never been God blessed in my life before, never. Nobody had ever said God bless you to me, ever. I was quite struck by this. And they seemed like they were genuinely pleased to see me. They didn't know me, the first time ever there. But they smiled and they shook my hand. They put their hand on my shoulder and they said, "You're going to have a great night tonight." And I was going there in a little bit of fear and trepidation, trying to be incognito. And there I was. Now what the preacher preached about, I haven't got the foggiest clue. But I remember those two men shaking my hand.
Wow.
Yes.
So true.
He was some famous preacher, but I barely even remember his name. I haven't got a foggiest what he preached on. But I do remember those two men. They made me feel welcome. I was doing an assignment at university at the time. Actually, this was before I got put out of the church. I'm a bit muddled in times, but don't matter. General things, right? And I was doing an assignment, pretty important assignment, fairly big one. And I said to Anne, all day long I thought of these happy people that we'd spent that evening with. I've never seen such happy people. Dancing and clapping, and I thought it was a bit odd, but they were happy. And I said, Anne, I'd like to go back there again because they had meetings every night of the week for a crusade sort of thing. And Anne said, I wouldn't mind going either. So instead of doing my assignment, I went back. And I remember distinctly as I drove down Fuller Street, Windsor, thinking to myself, I wonder will those men God bless me again. That's what I called it. Sure enough, they were both on that door and they both God blessed me again. And they remembered that I was there the night before and they welcomed me back. And it made such a big impression on me. I still remember it all these years later. Heaps of years later. People will remember you. Better than they remember tonight's sermon. They'll remember you. And they'll remember your servant heart, your love, your kindness, and your welcome to them, making them feel at home. They'll remember that. Because that's love in action. And so I just want to honour you and appreciate you and thank you for coming. And I just trust that being an under-shepherd, I think they've all accepted being under-shepherds that are here.
Oh, I'm sure they have.
They have. If you haven't yet volunteered, consider yourself conscripted.
Where's the Queen shilling?
We just love you, dude, so that we all work together to build the kingdom of God. When we get to 2,000 or 3,000 people coming here, there'll be a big crowd of us. We won't fit in here.
That's right.
But we'll still be looking after a small group of people, just caring for them. Does it mean you've got to do all sorts of things with them? No, it just means you've got to love them and notice whether they're at church or not. Now Jan has a couple of things. Jan made administrative pastor of the church, and she keeps the pastors in order. And it's a big job.